What's up, everybody? I hope your evening is going splendid. Welcome to Makeup Tales Friday. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Spent an hour trying to figure out what look I wanted to do, and then I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out the order of the brushes and what colors they're going to, or what. Yeah, no, I said that wrong. Trying to figure out what brush was going to be for what color, because this look has a very specific, obviously this look has a specific order it's supposed to be in. So anyways, oh, by the way, I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it. I got a mark on my hand. I also have one on the back of my hand. They're not real. I was just messing around with some colors real quick, trying to figure out something. Anyways, tonight's story takes place in the graveyard. It came for us in the graveyard. We were driving my friend's really old beat up Subaru through a massive graveyard. Looks about right, I'm about to clean that up. We stopped and walked down a hill and came across a little pond. There was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. Not really weird yet, because you know, the graveyards are like local hangout spots for young people. I said that as if I'm not young. Anyways, the figure was all black, and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact it looked like a man who was wearing some old style top hat. Okay, now I said not a red flag way too soon. I spoke way too soon because... Anyways, we stupidly waved and shouted hi. He didn't show any acknowledgement and continued sitting still on the rock. Okay. First of all, don't wave hi to a stranger at all, because then that just draws attention. But as I said, we're not judging, because, you know. Yeah, we're just not going to judge. We're not going to judge. We don't judge over here. I'm going to have to fix this later. That's okay. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet, started running to us on the water, and then vanished into thin water. Is that a typo? I don't know if that's supposed to say air or not. About halfway on the pond. My friends and I screamed and ran back to the car. I had to take off the eyeshadow on this eye because it didn't come out as good as the one on this eye, so. Anyways, that is freaky. What's freaky, now I know some people are gonna be like, well, seeing somebody who's sitting on the opposite side of where you are is freaky. And it's like, well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's freaky right then and there. I mean, it's something to keep an eye out for, you know, just in case. Basically, what I'm trying to get at, like, it's not weird yet because it's like, yeah, I mean, they're sitting on the opposite side of the pond and, like, where the graveyard is at. Okay, not a big deal. That took forever, but we're back. Just like the last video, we're doing, well, yeah, no, similar to last video. Wouldn't have been able to do liner while also telling the story on camera, so there's that. Anyways, let's move on with the story. Okay, the car wouldn't start, and we heard something banging on the back of the car. That is very terrifying. It wasn't a constant bang, but every few seconds or so we'd hear it. Nobody was outside from what we could see in the dark, but something was making a noise on the car. Hold up, let me... I opened my phone and started dialing my mom to come give us a boost, but I had no service. None of us had any cell service. The next 30 minutes were spent trying to get her car started. No banging was heard afterwards, but we felt this heavy pressure around us. Finally, the car started and she hit the pedal. It turned off. Oh my god. And she hit the pedal to the metal. Good, as you should. We sped out of the graveyard so fast. Immediately crossing the gates, all of our phones regained cell service. Oh, wait, before I finish this, I just want to say, like, I just think it's kind of weird how they just, like, well, I mean, look, man, I haven't been to a freaking graveyard or a cemetery in forever. So I don't know if it's true that you get, like, if cell service is, like, completely terrible. I don't know. I haven't been in forever, so couldn't tell you. But I just think it's weird that, like, all of a sudden when they immediately, like, crossed the gates, they got service again. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not an animal or a human. Alright, y'all, and that was It Came For Us in the Graveyard. My bad. Alright. This is what we got. This is my first time doing a cut crease, and it actually came out okay. I'm very shocked. Alright. It Came For Us in the Graveyard. Let's talk about it. Okay, to give a rundown of the story. Again, or not again. These friends that are driving through an old beat up Subaru in the cemetery. They go, did he say? Oh no, she stopped, or they stopped and walked down a hill and came across a pond. That's when they see this figure sitting on a rock that's on the opposite side. They couldn't tell or make out any other features other than the figure was all black and he had an old style top hat. And they I don't know why this is, like, making me laugh, but she was like, we stupidly waved. We were like, hey, but he didn't respond or even acknowledge them. You just sat still on the rock. Then all of a sudden he just stood up to his feet and just freaking just ran across the pond. But, like, he didn't even make it to the other side of the pond. He went, like, super fast at first. So no, he ran, like, halfway to the pond and then just whoop, just vanished into thin water. Because that's what it says here, which I thought was a typo, but I don't think so. So everybody starts freaking out. They run back to the car. The car wouldn't start. They heard banging on their car and whatnot. They couldn't see where it was coming from, but from what they could tell, with it being dark outside, they couldn't tell if there was anybody around or anything like that. The person who wrote this story did not, or she had tried to call her mom, or call their mom, to come help them, give them a boost, but there was no cell service. So for like 30 minutes, they were trying to help get the car started, and then, like, excuse me, in the midst of all that, there's just this heavy energy that is just around them. So after what seems like forever, some time passes by. Finally, they get the car started. Immediately, once they cross the gates, that's when they get cell service, or they regain cell service. And she pretty much, or they, I don't know why I keep saying she, because it doesn't even say, like, what gender everybody is. So, and, like, okay, look, I said this earlier, I haven't been to a cemetery / graveyard in years, but the thing is, like, I don't go there for leisurely purposes. Not that it's uncommon, and not that I'm judging anybody who does. You do your thing, but it just, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that part. The figure, that wouldn't necessarily give me, like, a red flag. It is something to keep an eye out for, like I mentioned earlier. That is something you should, keep an eye on, or just, like, something to be mindful about. And then, when they had tried to wave high to the figure, they didn't get acknowledged. Wouldn't say it's odd, may seem rude, because it's just like, okay, like, like, we're trying to tell you hi, And then it's like, okay, you know, they're just carrying on with their time at the graveyard. And then all of a sudden, this fucking figure just stands up from the rock and starts chasing after them on water. On water. Now, it would have been scarier if the figure wouldn't have stopped midway, like on the pond, and just whoop, just vanished. I mean, it's still scary that he just up and just zoomed across the water chasing after them. But all I'm saying is that it would have been scarier if he would have continued. It didn't. Yeah, that would make my heart stop. That would literally make my heart stop beating. I I promise you that would make my heart stop beating. I would simply pass away. No pun intended. And then and then there's the running back to the car and not being able to get it to start. This is literally something out of, my finger looks weird when I did that, I'm sorry. That is just like something straight out of a horror movie. As cliche and as as cliche as that sounds, it's true. Like, there's absolutely nothing worse when you're trying to get away or get out of a scary / dangerous situation and your car won't start. Not only does your car not start or you can't get it to start, but then you also had no service too. It's just like, you can't call nobody for help. You're screwed. You are very much screwed. These people, they got lucky. They were lucky to be out of there and still like just making it out of there in one piece. Like, that is, now while all that is scary, the scariest thing of all this is the fact that, once again, one thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there and it was not an animal or a human. That's the scariest part of all. Because very obviously it wasn't an animal, but it wasn't a human either. So it's not either one of those. Then what the fuck was it, you know? Alright, and that concludes the story. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you haven't already, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if that is okay. And I will see y'all on Tuesday, hopefully at 6:45. Sweet dreams.